Hello, this is Patrick, one of the wild guys. This is my YouTube intro with some of the other wild guys. We will be canoeing and rafting rivers and lakes, and even we went out in the Pacific Ocean in the Northwest Territory, the Yukon and BC. Series 3 of the Bowron Lake canoe trip. We're already out there. Yogi's out in the middle of the lake, just flying by all those different fish. And he's having a ball in the lake. The smoke isn't slowing him down. The wild guy's famous campfire coffee is already made, and we're enjoying a cup of it. One of the wild guys got up very early this morning and sort of disturbed most of the other wild guys that were snoozing a little longer. We'll be at the end of Issac Lake, the south end, and we'll be down at the Issac River by the end of the day today. Should be a good trip. How's things this morning, boys? You're on the video.
Early. Yeah, I know. Things are very early.
Thanks for getting up at 5:30, Patty.
Oh.
Yeah. For a shopping trip or something.
I guess it was my turn to get up a little bit early this morning, get the coffee, the fire going, the coffee on, and have a nice breakfast for the wild guys this morning. The boys look pretty happy. I guess today's the day that we'll be making it to the end of Issac Lake. Another cup of the wild guys coffee. Yogi was up bright and early this morning, and he was out swimming in the lake. I'm sure that he probably swam more than some of the fish out there. Yogi came for the Maritimes, and he come out with his brother Mark, and he was with us. Great addition. I tell you, that Atlantic Ocean sure made him used to cold water. I would have goose pimples on me, really big ones, trying to go into the lake some places where it was fairly cold. Although it's true, I'm a bit wimpy. Anyways, Yogi would just dive in and he was gone, and it didn't affect him a bit. And this is Yogi's brother, Mark, and Mark is coming down right now. He was up in the little house. I don't know what he was doing. He told us he was doing some paperwork. I guess he was the one that was responsible for the accounting. I may not have mentioned, but this is day 4 on the water. We've already had Yogi in swimming this morning. You just seen that a little while ago. He's going to put his pants on now, or he's putting them away or something.
Just changed.
There's Jim. Jim was up kind of early this morning.
Hey Pat, thanks for getting me up.
That's good.
Hey Pat.
How you doing, Doug?
Just hunky-dory.
You're ready to go, aren't you?
I'm ready to go. I was in your tent. We were first up.
That's good.
Yeah.
And this is Brian here. How you doing, Brian?
Good morning.
Yeah. Oh, we got John hiding behind here. Just a sec. Hi, John.
Pat, seen any moose this morning?
No moose this morning.
No moose this morning.
And here comes Bob. Bob is just doing an inspection. Bob, did you do the inspection of the site and we left nothing behind?
Site is clean as a whistle.
That's good.
Just while you got that going, I'd like to say thanks to Dee again for that chili, the gift that keeps on giving.
Yes.
For all of us. We're still talking about it days after.
Yes, that was good chili. So, okay. We often think of Johnny Cash after that and his song, The Burning Ring of Fire. This is day 4 on the water. We're at the end of the Issac Lake, right? And we had some people with authority come tell us there's a fire somewhere out in the bush and it could burn us up on the lake. So they're telling us we got to turn around and go back to the way we come in after we reach the end of the lake. Now that we've come through the 2 big portages, we've come down the lakes paddling, and now we got a free ride. We got to turn around because we got some rivers and stuff like that. Oh well. We can still play around here at the Issac River and the Shoot, and I'm sure we're going to have a great time, even though we got to turn around and go back home. Well, that's the end of the lake. We just come down. We get down here to the river where we can get a free ride, and it's not free anymore. They turned us around and sent us home. Oh well. It's only about 100 miles up that way. Just kidding. Of equivalent works into about 2,367,000 strokes on the paddle. Something like that. Okay. You're on video there, Mark. My suggestion is that we eat everything that's heavy. That onion should work. Well, the food stash is open. We're able to eat whatever we want. We're not going to have to pack all that stuff against up by the portages going home. We're at the end of Issac Lake, right where the Issac River is and the rapids. So we're going to play around in here for a while before we head back. And it looks like somebody tipped over. I think that was John Waters and also Doug Hughes. Anyways, it was a good thing for our video. We appreciated it. It's great to see the canoe upside down. The wild guys are at the Issac River now. There goes Yogi. He's just swimming through the water. He's hard to follow because he's under the water just about as much as he is on top of the water. So time I find him, he's heading back down under the water again. That sounds like the two that just tipped over their canoe a while ago and were paddling off on their own with no canoe. But it didn't take us very long, and we were out there playing in Issac River, tipping over, swimming through the rapids, and having an awesome time. We had a lot of fun. We didn't let going back home discourage us too much. After watching the wild guys playing in Issac River and the rapids and the shoot that we had there, and I was filming them just having a good time, but I realized I was also missing out on a lot of fun out in the chute in the rapids. So I got my black gear on and I headed out as well. Having my wet gear on and just almost being, couldn't sink. I was floating through the water. I had a great time going through there many times and really enjoying the rapids and just going through, swimming through them. It was a lot of fun. I'll never forget those trips through the rapids. Sometimes a disappointment, like a wildfire that had stopped us from going through the Bowron Lake from finish to start to finish, can be a positive thing. Here comes two wild guys swimming behind the canoe. As we play in the river, we don't even think about the fact that we got to turn around and go back the same way we went in. We're having too much fun right now, and there's going to be a lot to see as well as we head back home. I'll let you look at the wild guys just a little bit longer as they're playing in the Issac River, and I don't know if you call them chutes or certainly rapids at the very beginning as you head in. The wild guys swimming in the Issac River and the chute with the rapids has been a lot of fun, a real blast. You've seen some pictures of some of the wild guys going down the Issac River, but there's going to be more coming. Another group joined in with us and swimming down the Issac River and through the chute as well. We got to keep an eye on that yellow canoe because I have a feeling, yep, there it goes. A number of the wild guys have made it down to where the rapids end, and they are now heading back up for another run at it. They had a blast. Those wild guys from the yellow canoe made her to shore. A lady from one of the other groups is getting some directions so she knows how to go down the chute. She'll be okay. The next is myself in my rubber suit, just coming through, and boy, what a lot of fun I had. And this looks like Bob, and then here comes Doug behind him. Now comes Jim, just a flying through there. Now we're going to be walking back up to the head of the river to do another run. This looks like me in my rubber ducky suit again. And this is Doug here. He's coming down behind me. I'm not sure who this is, but I think it's probably Brian. Well, we're just going to do a little bit more canoeing, and then we'll probably be wrapping this up. But boy, was it a blast. It looks like the wild guys are out of the river now and in their canoes, and they'll be coming back down the river. This is going to be one of the last canoes that come down the river. Okay, that other one didn't look like he made it right away. And Jim is the very last one before we pull the canoes out. We stopped and posed for a picture. Looks like I was played out a bit. Okay, you guys.
Okay, hats off.
Hats off. The trail is closed. You cannot enter. Yeah, let me zoom in on that a bit. I'll get that sign. It says, trail is closed. Holy smolders.
We're not happy about
Are you guys happy or what? No, we're not happy.
I really want to do the portages on the way back down.
Yeah. So we gotta paddle all the way back, uphill all the way.
For the smoke, no scenery.
I'll show you a few prints of the Issac River. This is where we had to stop. We could only go to the one end and turn around and now head back north. Well, after 5 days of paddling, we have to turn around and go home. Is that what I hear, Mark?
Sadly, we must be turned around. Sadly, we must head back, but it's been absolutely...
Because of the forest fire, we're going to have to turn around. These are the lakes ahead of us that we would have went to that we missed out on. The lakes that we will not be able to canoe through because of turning back. First one would be the Lanesi Lake, and then there's going to be the Sandy Lake. At the Sandy Lake, we turn north and head back up towards home. Then we turn north on the parallelogram. Now comes Una Lake. Then there's Spectacle Lake. This lake looks like it would have a nice view and some nice sunsets on it as well. Then I don't want to miss out on Babcock Lake. Then I got a nice sunset. It's on the Spectacle Lake that I showed you just before that one. Then after the Spectacle Lake, there's the other one is the Swan Lake. Then the one we don't want to miss is called Pat's Point. Pat's Point must be special with a name like that. Not to mention, that's my name as well. This is the last lake, Bowron Lake. You completed the parallelogram. It is a very prominent point just across from Spectacle. Reluctantly, we've turned around and we've had to go back around the lake, the same lake we come in. So we're going to miss just about half of the Bowron Lake chain simply because of the wildfire. You'll notice the smoke in the air and the picture quality is not that great. And we're just heading up the lake. This would be Issac Lake. We're going back. That would be one of the longest lakes. And we're heading back to go around and come back out at a starting point. As we continue further north, you're going to start to see the air quality and also the picture starting to clear up. Here you'll notice it is getting clearer, and just because we can see better, we're starting to see the wild animals coming out again. But there still seems to be lots of smoke. As we're heading back north up Issac, and we're going to make the loop and come back down to the Bowron registration area, we're camping and seeing various different animals along the way. So the trip is still a very nice trip. The bull moose doesn't look too afraid of us. I would guess that the moose that we have here would be somewhere between a 5 and 6 year bull moose, so it would be a mature animal. In the Algonquin language, moose means eater of twigs, but you can see from here they also eat and browse at the bottom of lakes and rivers. I grew up around moose, around Slave Lake and also northern British Columbia. These are the red willows that I often see them eating. Moose live between 10 and 15 years, and I've seen some statements that even actually makes them live a little bit longer than that. And it's said that they have poor eyesight, really good smell, and really good hearing. I agree about the smell and the hearing, but I don't know, they don't have too bad of eyesight either. They also go down underwater and eat at the bottom of the lake, so it's not just twigs, but also the stuff that grows on the bottom of the lake. Boy, when I'm out hunting, they spot me pretty fast. But I agree, moose can smell and hear really well. If you're downwind from them, they're going to smell you, and they're going to be gone. On our way back up Issac Lake, we hit some thunder and some lightning and rain, but it's died back down now. I've included a few moose prints as well in with the movie. We now stopped and are camping here for the night, and we'll be carrying on tomorrow morning. Some of the moose pictures are a bit shaky. The boat was moving a bit and we were a little bit further away from them. Well, it's the 5th day. The boys are all cooking. You notice they're all pitching in and really helping. Not room for me, but that's all right. This is our garlic here. Jim's doing dissecting and cutting up our garlic. And
I'm not sure what these things are.
what do we got down here?
Sun-dried tomatoes.
They look like they're dried tomatoes?
Sun-dried tomatoes.
Sun-dried tomatoes, and you notice all the peppers and the onions we got over here.
And the garlic and the onions and things that were...
Now, that was Doug. And then we got over here, we got Yogi, and he's fixing the milk.
I'm making the sauce. I'm making the sauce.
He's making the sauce.
Yep.
Then we got Brian. Brian, what are you doing?
He's the
sous chef.
sous chef on the
Sous
sauce.
chef.
Dude.
Okay.
Sous chef.
Sous chef. And then over here we've got Bob. Bob's got the stuff in the frying pan. Hi, Bob.
Hi there, Pat.
How are you doing today?
Yes, great.
Now we got John coming up. He's bringing in the supplies.
Everybody knows what they're...
Still smoke here. Just can't get away from that smoke. No.
Another pepper you want?
We quietly wrote the
We got the head chef here. How you doing, Mark?
This is indeed a pleasure having. This is great. This is just like working in a very high-end restaurant. We got sauce men, we got vegetable guys.
I don't know if we need any of these for
Standards of cleanliness in the restaurant.
Yeah, Patty,
We got a
are
yellow.
you recording?
I'm recording. And then that's our salmon.
That is salmon.
We just caught that out of the lake.
Freshly caught
Yeah,
from
we
the
caught
lake.
that this morning and smoked it there on our way.
That looks good.
On a homemade fly, I made that.
We vacuum packed it.
We got John to smoke this from in his pipe.
Yeah.
Down at the chute, we vacuum packed it.
Okay. That looks good. Okay. We tell some stories about our fish, how big they are and where we caught them and so forth, even when they're vacuum packed. But it seemed like a lot of fun. The stories will get wilder as we get older. We's the wild guys. And this is the 6th day. We got rained out in our tent last night. Anyways, there they come. We paddled all the way from I don't know where. Sorry about the movie camera this year. It just didn't work out. I'll blame it on the smoke. We had to skip a blazing fire, and it was smoking something fierce. And those guys are paddling and packing out the canoes and everything. And I'm sitting up here taking their pictures. But it's working out okay. Anyways, I told them all about that, John, about that canoe or tent getting wet and everything, and we weren't sure why it got wet, whether it was rain or something else.
Yeah, I think it was something else.
Yeah. Okay, you guys just keep going. Yeah. Good to have you there. Yeah. And Yogi's coming along. Yogi was a great addition to our deal. He's giving us tea every evening, and it's just been splendiferous, Yogi. You got to come back. And here's Mark. These two helped me out a great deal on these portages. Here's my buddy Jim. He's my partner. Oh, there's nobody on your canoe there, Jim, so he's missing. Hey, Bob. There, how you doing? And Brian is bringing up the rear.
Right as a light.
Okay, so anyways, there they go. They're heading home. I think they kind of smell the barn and the oats right now. So anyways, we had a great trip on the Bowron. They did stop us down at the, what they call a shoot, I think. We had some wonderful times at the shoot. And then now we're being sent back home the same way we come in. But anyways, we had a wonderful time. And we'll get a little more down the road here once we're doing our last portage now. And I don't want to stop filming right away because that means I'd have to go on a canoe. So pushing one of those canoes, and that's a terrible job. Anyways, we'll catch you in a wee bit. Bye. Oh, here I am bringing up the rear, just making sure nothing drops off. Because if it does, I'll let them know and get them to come back and pick it up, I guess. I got a interesting and also a very important job as well. So after being turned around at the chute at the end of Issac Lake, we turned around, went back up all the way up to the end of Issac Lake, and then we went through the Indian Point Lake and then over to Kibbe Lake, and now we're portaging on our way back up to the provincial park where we started off. Oh, here we are right now. So one last look at the Wild Guys and the Bowron Lake canoe trip, and then you'll meet the welcoming committee at the provincial park.
Okay. Oh, I got to shut it down. There's a truck. We want to thank you for all the food that you sent out for us.
Oh, yeah, okay.
And we come home and you've got for us some other food down here, and I'll just put that down in there. And there's some, what do you call those kind of chips and salsa? Is that right?
Yeah, that's right.
I'm going along doing pretty good here. And I just wanted to get a few comments for you, what you think of us bringing your husband home one day early. Is there any?
Oh, I think it's great.
Oh, you do? Okay.
I've been missing the young man.
Oh, that's good. Well, we had a great trip, anyways.
Oh, that's great. Where were all these flies coming from? There were none before.
I'm not sure.
It has to do with you guys.
They didn't. Some of them didn't have a bath, so that. Now, John, we're winding this 2010 Bowron trip up, and is there any comments you want to make before we bring this thing to a close?
Well, yeah, I'm happy to see my wife and be alive again and back in civilization and.
What about that dog, John?
Spent all those wonderful days with you crazy guys.
Yeah, and did you have any exciting things you wanted to talk about?
Exciting things.
Yeah.
Like.
Whatever.
Sharing a tent with you?
Yeah.
But we'll do it.
The pool of water on our tent this morning and the wet sleeping bags and the.
Things like that, eh?
Yeah, things like that.
Okay. Well, Brian, did you have any exciting things you want to talk about before we wrap this up?
Just the bonding and the meals were wonderful, and the swimming yesterday was the highlight of the trip. I'm glad we convinced the other guys to get down there and go through the chute. That was pretty neat. And I've been watching you go through the chute in your underwear. Yeah.
My black suit.
My day.
Yeah.
Black underwear, your bodysuit.
Super. Well, thank you. And Bob, what was so exciting for you?
Well, there's so many things, but I think probably what I enjoyed the most was hearing all those jokes that I hadn't heard for so many years.
Well, that's right. They'd sort of come back to mine after a while. Well, that's good. And we got a Baylor guy here. His name is Mark Baylor. So, Mark, now what was a big exciting event for you on this particular voyage? Did I learn you anything, or did you learn? Did I?
Learned me a lot, Pat.
That's good.
But
you can't remember what you learned so far.
Got to be something exciting.
everything it was exciting.
Every day's an education with Patty.
Jim McAllister, filled me in, and I learned about combs.
About combs.
How to deal with them.
Was that right? Like for combing your hair?
Yeah.
And the other highlight is that, and I've got to say this because, I do miss Sandy, and I will be talking to her, and, she'll see this video, so.
Yeah.
Just a little punch, a little in there. And
That's right.
I tried to get close to several people, and it just didn't work.
Didn't work. So your
brother's a highlight. That's a highlight.
That is. It is a highlight to all of us. And
A lot of brotherly bonding went on.
Oh, absolutely.
That's right. And Jim, I got to get Jim over here. He's my paddling partner. What's the big highlight for you, Jim?
Well, first off, thanks for being my paddle partner.
Oh, that's great.
That 1,000 RPM front motor, that was just great. It was a thrill going through the chute with you, Pat, down the roller coaster and surviving.
Yes, that was great.
Yeah. Watching other people demonstrate how to do it.
Yeah.
How not to do it.
That was good, watching that, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, somebody tipped over.
Who were you with?
Yeah, that's good. And now we have our new guy, Yogi. I tell you, Yogi, I got to tell, that tea was just a great addition to our trip. And not only that, getting up and going swimming and giving us that inspiration was just awesome. But we'd like to hear from you on the highlight of your trip.
Well, it was a bonding trip for me, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
all of you guys, and particularly my older brother there. I think we did some
He's
bonding.
quite a bit older, isn't he?
Yeah, quite a bit. We did a lot of bonding, but I'll tell you, it was that smooth, glassy water paddling was a real highlight for me too.
Yeah.
And to be able to go swimming just about any time I wanted, that's great.
Yeah.
But down in the chute, going down and swimming around there, and I actually got to swim just below the falls, and I got to swim with the fish, and I actually saw the fish underneath there. That was
Yeah.
quite spectacular. But really, that was really enjoyed all you guys, and learning about how to grow up in Prince Rupert. That was a highlight of me too. I really enjoyed hearing how you grew up in Prince Rupert.
I never did grow up.
Well, we were happy to have you along, and I'm sure we'd all say we'd love to have you again. And Doug,
Yeah,
how you doing, Doug?
good, Pat.
And you had a wonderful trip.
I did have a great trip.
Right.
It was wonderful. It was
And
just
we're
great.
gonna have to stop along the way and paddle across some lakes tonight, maybe.
I think so, just to keep in practice.
Right.
Yeah.
And what was the fun and exciting thing?
Well, I think
Learning how to do the shoot.
I had learned that. Yeah, John sticking with me till I got the shoot done twice, and then we thought we'd go a third time, and we did it. So
That's good.
3 times, and we got it done right.
Super.
So swimming in the chute, getting up early in the morning, that was great.
Yeah.
Going out canoeing,
Yeah.
having that wonderful coffee,
Super.
all that good food that was sent along by Dee.
Yeah.
Barb, that was great.
Super.
And then getting home a day early, I'll get to see my honey a day early. So
That's
good.
great.
So
Yeah.
everything's looking up.
Yeah.
So what about you, Pat?
Oh, yeah. Okay.
What do you think about the trip now?
Well, first of all, I would like to say we're kind of sad that we didn't get Billy to come along, because Billy always adds to our trip. But I guess one of the highlights of the trip this morning was waking up and noticing that I really wasn't that wet, and John was a lot wetter than I was. That was all right. And having my black rubber ducky suit on and going through those, what do you call those? That water chute? That was a lot of fun as well.
What about hanging with that
And
girl from
seeing
Poland?
the moose and all that other stuff. And I think it was the moose I think I was talking about.
Oh, the moose! Well, the moose had the bikini on. Oh, I get it now.
So I guess that would be my highlight. So we can close this off as the end of the 2010 Bowron Lake canoe trip. A great time had by all, and even the flies were happy because they took a chunk out of just about each and every one of us.
Yeah.
Quick
That
prayer,
pretty well
Patty.
got? Pardon?
Quick prayer.
Should we clap?
Quick prayer?
No prayer.
You never did say a prayer.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's probably all over now, so
Yeah,
it's a
you'll have
little.
to save that one.
You guys have heard that one before, so.
They'll just have to hear Series 2 of the Nahani and get the prayer. So we will end the Series 3 Bowron trip that we had. Thanks for coming along with us. It's great to just see another shot of the yellow canoe getting dragged across the river by the wild guys. Boy, they did really well. And we'll give the moose the last word. So watch for Patrick here, and next time it's going to be his wife. We've got about 20 years of moose hunting, and you can come along with us on a moose hunt. You should enjoy that.